What's going on, Mike? This is Desmond Clark, former tight end of your Chicago Bears.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Halas Hall Report.
Defense has been playing too good. So I'm going to take the Bears in a rare shootout.
I mean, if that offensive line, we get some help for that one. In our draft and everything, we need to focus on our offense.
You know, he's going to be on a roll here today. I think he's at least going to have 2 sacks.
Doing it all year long, so if you stop those 2 guys, who else they got?
Robbie to go. I mean, he took out Aaron.
Yeah.
Go that touchdown, got the 1-play lead with 61 seconds left.
Dalton runs the offense a little better than Fields, as long as the offensive line can somewhat hold up. Welcome to Halas Hall Report, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Pretty good.
Good.
That's how I'm doing.
That's how you're doing?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about a little bit of last Thursday's game. Wasn't the best game. Thursday's game's been kind of crappy the last couple weeks, but what everyone think about the game against Washington? We'll start with Jason this week first.
Played like shit. I don't know what else to say. I mean, just, I liked a couple things that I seen from Fields. I think we need a lot of work. I think we need some. We got glaring holes in a lot of spots, and it's more and more obvious every week. Mostly on offense. Our line is terrible. It's not gelling. I don't know what else to say. I'm hoping our running game stays solid for the rest of the year. I don't know much else. Can move right past me. I'm just upset about the whole deal.
Gotcha. We'll move on to Woody next. What'd you think, bud?
7 points to a 1-4 team at home with our Orange Crush uniform. My question is, if anybody has the exact answer, is how many times did they peel up Justin Fields from the fucking turf? Anybody got that answer for me? A lot.
Nope.
A lot.
Too many.
Too many. Justin Fields did have David Montgomery wide open at the end of the game there, and he decided to, throw it to Mooney. So it's I don't know if he's in a rush or what. He's got to make his checkdowns and everything to see who's open. Montgomery was open. He could have crawled into the end zone. So bad game. It was sad. We needed that game, like I said last week on the show. But I knew this was going to happen. We're going to have a bad year, but those types of games is that we got to fucking win. So that's just my opinion on that.
We'll move to CJ. Anything to add?
I definitely agree with Jason and Woody. Terrible game last week. Seemed like Justin still is not trusting the rest of his teammates, to pretty much look for the other options besides Mooney. Offensive line is atrocious. Other than that, that's about it. I mean, offense really, I was hoping that they were going to take the momentum that they had from the previous game and use it for that Thursday game. Nothing.
Right. And yeah, the offensive line has not been that good last week. They gave up 5 sacks. I'm not putting it all on the offensive line because Justin Fields has the most time to throw the ball out of any quarterback. Yeah, he rolls out of the pocket, but I feel like he rolls out of the pocket too much. He's got to feel comfortable. He's got to stay in there. And you're 100% right, Woody. He totally missed him in the flat. Go Montgomery out, but I see you shaking your head, Ken. I know you wanted to say something what he said, so go ahead.
I'm so tired of seeing the memes like, oh, look at all the people Fields could have thrown to, they're wide open. Like, really, dude? Like, you're not in the play.
we have that luxury of having eye in the sky cams and everything else that the guys on the field don't have. So yeah, he might have been wide open, but you know what? He may not have seen him because I don't know, bodies may have been in the way or whatever case may be. I mean, just because he was wide open doesn't mean you could see him because of what was going on in the play. And because you can go, we did that. Oh, well, look at Aaron Rodgers had so and so wide open, but Aaron Rodgers didn't see so and so. So yeah, it's great he was wide open, but no one knew. I mean, I get it. Montgomery was open, but the way the play went, Fields didn't see him. And I swear when I watch this team, I agree with most of what everyone's saying except for that. But I mean, you watch this team like, my God, is Mike Martz the OC again? Is Jay Cutler back in quarterback? Because it's just like when Cutler was here, and Cutler was getting murdered every game in the pocket because the line couldn't hold for him either. So
well, I believe on that play that you're talking, I believe he was blocking at first, and then he rolled up the block to get open.
And Fields isn't comfortable in the pocket for a reason because you've all said the same thing. The O line isn't gelled. He's getting hit, hurried, sacked more than anyone else in the NFL right now, pretty much. I mean, so when he's moving, he's not looking back towards Monty to see if Monty broke off a block. So I mean, I get it, but there was a play designed to roll to go to Mooney. And that's what they did because he rushes because he doesn't feel he has the time because he's getting pressured more than anyone. So once the O-line gels, I think this is where we'll all agree. Once that O-line gels and protects and he can feel comfortable, now he doesn't miss a Monty because he can take an extra an extra second or two to look behind to see if there's something there or to hear something. Right now he's in that fight or flight mode, right? He's not greatest show on turf, able to take the ball like Kurt Warner did in St. Louis, do his taxes, order a pizza, and call his wife kind of thing. He's literally running for his life every play. And it's all the O-line. I mean, the other thing about this team, though, 3 times we were first and goal within the 5, and we walked away with 0 points. Completely unacceptable. Some of it's play calling. Some of it is what we already talked about. But, that's where we're at with this team. We're that one play away from winning a game. And we've lost, 3 games now at least, where it was that one play. We've been in everything, except for the Packers game, really. We've been in every game. So
it was 3 times in the
that's what I said.
Red
3
zone.
times within the 5-yard line. Within the 5-yard line.
They've been in the red zone all season and haven't done nothing with it.
And okay, I get the one was a turnover on downs, being aggressive, fine. The one was a deflected pass, and what was the third one? Or was that turnover on downs too? That was turnover on downs too. So they got to have better play calling in the red zone, especially when you're in that close. The deflected pass, okay, deflection passes happens. That's usually be more of a great defensive play than anything. But I mean, you got to at least, I think if we kicked the field goal early on, that would have changed the game instead of going turnover on downs in that first one. So some of that's on the coaching, and then late in the game you had to go for a touchdown. So I get it. But I mean, this whole everyone's open, Fields doesn't see, he has no vision. No, I'm not buying it. The guy doesn't have the time for the vision. He doesn't have the perspective we have with all the different cameras. So I'm tired of hearing that argument because how many times have we seen him roll and move and find someone's like, oh my God, look at that guy was wide open. No one saw it but him. So
or he ran for 20.
Yeah. So I'm tired of. We shouldn't be hearing that. If the offensive line was great and the guy had all day to do his taxes and he missed obvious open ones, okay, I could get that. But this guy's literally running for his life every play of the game.
Right. There was one more thing I wanted to add too. There's something I had been thinking about with Justin Fields. Justin Fields would, I think, succeed in a Ravens-style offense. The kid right now is probably on a pace for about 800 rushing yards. I think if they utilized him more like Lamar Jackson, the way they play with him and give him the option, and then some of those design runs with the disguised handoffs and look at how he works Mark Andrews. We got a good tight end. That's all you got to do is play to the kid's strengths. And they're letting him run a little bit more, and you can see when he does go with the ball, the kid can really make things happen when he runs. I mean, if they didn't get that one touchdown called back, I mean, he would have had a big run.
I think
You gotta limit the run plays for the quarterback. I mean, he rushed 12 times. Our leading rusher was 15, Montgomery. He should have double the carries a quarterback does.
and there's another problem. And while I understand where you're coming from, Lamar Jackson is unique because look at every quarterback that was like that, and look how long their careers are. And right now Lamar Jackson is defying the odds with as much as he does run. Every quarterback that was like that, RG3 lasted what, 3 years? I mean, you run the higher risk of injury. So I get what you're saying, but Lamar is literally a statistical anomaly in terms of designing an offense where you have him run a lot and have him actually still being, viable as a player. He's rare because every other quarterback that's ever done that, even Michael Vick, ended up with a shorter career. And Michael Vick's career was only as long as it was because he went to prison for 2 seasons and became a pocket quarterback when he came back. So
the quarterback's protected a lot more these days than they used to be.
Well,
so there's a lot more opportunity.
But it's a lot more higher risk for injury.
I agree, but I mean, you got to put at some point you got to put it on the line. I mean, that every person that runs the ball has a risk for injury.
If we were a Super Bowl contending team, I might be more likely to say, yeah, okay, fine. But considering where this team is at this year, why risk it?
Dan, anything you want to add to the?
I'm surprised Fields didn't get injured last week. A couple few of those hits that he took looked like he was banged up, but
yeah,
he is taking some shots.
Thanks for having me on the show, guys. It's a great honor to be on the Halas Hall. My thoughts, like speaking what Danny said there, that they missed an obvious penalty there. Like that defensive tackle landed straight on him. I'm surprised he doesn't have bruised ribs from that. But my assessment of the game is I'm very high on Justin Fields. I do believe he's a rare talent that could actually take off. My assessment as a quarterback coach is he needs a really good quarterback coach. Just like one of the other gentlemen was saying there, you should go more of a Ravens style, an RPO. But for now, with Eversleuths, what he's doing and what I'm watching, he's doing his 7-step drop backs, and he's staring down his receiver. The way I coach quarterbacks, I say sprinkler head, right? So you look for the hot first, right? Bang, sprinkler, 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 sprinkler. And he's not doing that. But what I also notice that you guys practice a lot. So when you guys go up tempo, he's already got the play. And I think there was a long touchdown pass. Was that in that game where you guys hurried it up and he threw it to the end zone and made a beautiful catch? Was that game? Talk about it.
I believe so. My input on the game is we shoulda, woulda, coulda won, but unfortunately didn't. We literally had them in yardage, passing yards, rushing, yards per play, first down, you name it, we had it. We didn't even have that many penalties. But we definitely got to move the ball. When we move the ball and get in the red zone, we have to score. Have to.
Hey,
we
Mike,
all love to have the 7, but 3's better than nothing.
Hey, Mike, would you say that the highlight of the year besides our rookie backfield would be the fact that this is a very disciplined team with a very low amount of penalties for the entire year?
Yes, 100%. Like usually we're a high penalty. We're always complaining or bitching or, you know what I mean? It hasn't been that, they've been real good on the penalties. Some of them are like, oh, why'd you do that? But We've been real good, limited on penalties for sure.
Yeah, I missed the Charles Leno holding calls every fucking other play. I missed that.
I mean, think about it, guys. That's the hallmark, though. I mean, think about it. Teams that are highly disciplined and don't get the flags, that's usually, tells you a lot about the team's direction, right? And this team this year has done a complete 180. We are probably one of the least penalized teams in the league. I wouldn't be surprised if we are the least penalized team in the league. And if you look on the field, like we're that one play away every game. We're kind of like how the Lions were last year, or more how the Vikings were last year in that regard. Point wise, we're in these games, but it's a very highly disciplined team that doesn't commit penalties. That speaks very highly of where our team is going. I mean, we just got a couple things got to catch up, like the O-line's got to gel. But the fact that we're not getting these stupid penalties on us and not committing stupid penalties consistently tells you a lot about this team.
The O-line definitely has to gel for sure. I mean, giving up 5 sacks. Yeah, you got to put a little bit on Justin Fields' shoulder to either throw it away or just get rid of it. You can't just always take the sack. Sometimes you have no choice. You get bombarded, but
another thing too is like I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I'd like to see some more motion on the line prior to the snap. Some guys moving around, some different looks. I mean, it just looks so basic right now. I don't know if it's just that they're trying to get everybody acclimated to the offense before they start mixing it up a little bit, but it's so stale, especially in a red zone. It's like, it's no wonder we're not scoring. It's because it's like predictable.
Right.
Yeah, the one play we moved
with emotions to get separation for the receivers and maybe actually hit that quick route. We haven't really been able to throw it fast for the quick routes very often.
So I don't know if anybody watched the previous Eagles game here. I know Woody hates the Eagles, but I watched the game, and one thing that I did see was the way that they mixed up A.J. Brown, and they put him in motion, and they swung him out around the end, and they did the same play twice, and it freaking worked both times because they're motioning the guy out, and they're kind of like screening him with the other receivers. Gadget plays, things like that. It's just basic bitch right now. It looks like one of
the best plays we've had to Mooney all year was on a motion kind of, schemed play. So I think you're right. They are kind of basic betties, if you will, when it comes to the movement. Not that there is some good design on some of these plays. I think I think though the other reason why you're not seeing it as much is because of the confidence of the O-line to handle it. Like I think maybe the coaching staff is like, we're having a hard enough time as it is with the O-line. We don't want to confuse our kindergartners anymore.
Right. I think we need to get better on third down conversions as well. We haven't been that good on third down conversions. Last week we was 5 for 13 and 1 for 4 on fourth down.
I mean, that's probably pretty close to the league average, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I like 50%. It's a little much, honestly, but I'd like 50%.
Especially on fourth down as well.
Yeah. Well, in the red zone, for sure.
We're just a terrible red zone team this year. It's just I can't remember, but maybe twice that I can think of off the top of my head where we scored a touchdown. We've mostly gotten 3 points or nothing.
Well, and you know what's noticeably missing in the red zone? Trying to throw the tight ends.
Oh yeah, Griffin was wide open. He just overthrew him.
I think we've had 2 attempts at tight ends all season in the red zone.
You don't have to be a genius.
Well, the
know that a young quarterback's best friend, and anybody that's an NFL fan, you hear it all the time, The tight end is the young quarterback's best friend. And it's not there. Komet, everybody was talking about how Komet was going to have a breakout year and this was going to be his year and everything. And he hasn't done jack shit.
He's blocking. That's all he's doing.
I was going
holding.
to
And holding.
He's blocking more, and he hasn't got enough opportunities.
They've had to use
But
him.
what I want to
pass-
see more, what I want to see more is run plays. Like, we're running the ball good. Last week, Monty was 15 for 67, 4.5 yards a carry. You know, then you got Herbert after him. Yeah, he had that big good run, but I mean, he went 7 for 74. It's 10.5 yards a carry. You know, we got to feed those guys.
65 of that was on. 65 of that was on one run, though. So
right. Well, that's why I said the one was, but that was a cutback. That was great vision.
I mean, we're second in the league in rushing. I think we averaged about 170 yards.
I thought we were first in rushing.
I think our line's doing a great making holes, but pass blocking is just fucking terrible. Plain and simple.
There's that's why they grade them on both, man. There's a lot of offensive linemen that are good on the run, but pass blocking is a big deal, and it's two different things when it's an offensive lineman. The other thing I was going to say too is, like, okay, so would you say that Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson are probably the two best quarterbacks in the league right now? And
I put Josh Allen up there.
Well, Allen is too. But those specifically I want to focus on, because what are those guys? Who's the biggest go-to guys for them people? They're tight ends. Andrews and Kelsey.
We have a question in the comments from Greg Rice. What do you guys think? Do you think Komet is a bust, or is Bears not utilizing him?
No, like Mike said, he doesn't have a lot of opportunities, but when he's blocking, I think he had a couple of holding calls. So, but he needs more opportunities. He's a bust.
Komet's been doing a lot of hard work in the blocking game. He hasn't had, and unfortunately, it's affected his catching, because that's why it's almost like he's surprised the ball gets thrown to him when it does now.
Yeah, right. You see that?
Because
Here it is.
He's been, it's like, oh, what's this thing coming at me? I'm used to just blocking a guy. I mean, that his role this year, if it wasn't for Komet blocking, Justin might be dead right now. So I would say unfortunately, a lot of people say, oh, he's a bust because he's not scoring touchdowns and doesn't have a million receptions. No, he's not a bust. We're not seeing him catching the ball because he's saving Justin's life more times than not.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. I agree with you, Ken. 100%.
I can see, and I agree with Woody too. Like, Josh Allen probably is up there too in top 5, but the Bills are built different than those teams too. Mahomes and Lamar Jackson don't have 4 receivers with 4.3 speed.
Yeah, but Mahomes has Kelsey, and look at Mahomes is a whole different situation. He came to a situation where they were already a playoff contending team with a phenomenal O-line and phenomenal weapons throughout. And now, yes, some of the weapons have gone, but guess what? Because of what happened prior, he's already a better quarterback for it. And Kelsey's the last guy he's got left. That's why Kelsey's Kelsey. With Mahomes, with Lamar, Lamar lost his favorite receiver in Hollywood Brown, who got traded on draft day to Arizona. Now he's on the IR. But I mean, it's a whole different situation than Chicago. So, and you go to Buffalo, he barely uses tight end. I know, because I have him on my fantasy team, and every week I'm like throwing the piece of bologna at him because he's underscoring. He gets like 2 good games a season. The tight end position historically in the NFL is, even when Gronk was going, Gronk was the exception to the rule for the most part. Even him, though, you get him for fantasy wise, meaning game wise too, you get a great game out of him. Then you have 1 or 2 he's mostly blocking, or he has that one big catch a game.
Well, Chicago's like more like a defensive running team. That's how they always been.
It was nice last week to see, though, too, is Mooney getting 7 catches.
It's good that
Go ahead.
it's good they're getting Mooney more involved.
Yep.
I agree, Wood. They always been like that, but it's time to break the mold. This
Absolutely.
is
It's different.
in the future.
It's different
We're in
play.
the future now, man.
Yep.
True, and another good thing on last week's game is Roquan Smith has been playing lights out, and the rookies Brisker and Gordon has been playing very
Phenomenal.
well.
Yeah,
Very
phenomenal.
Yep. And like I said before the show, is that I heard, like I said, Mike, I heard the rumors, but I don't know if it's true about they might put Eddie Jackson back there doing the punt returns, but
Possibly.
I'll get
to that game here in a couple minutes. A couple things I still want to talk about before we get into this week's game. But we have a comment down here. It says, I'm high on Herbert. We were talking a little bit before we went live on Montgomery. His deal is going to be coming up, and usually the Bears, they usually don't re-sign a running back to a big deal. I mean, when they did, it wasn't a good turnout. Look what they did with Cohen. He got that big deal and, nothing. Yeah, he gave it mostly back and everything, but Herbert's good. I don't think we'll see much of Ebner because we got the 2-punch from Montgomery and Herbert. Well, we won't see much of Ebner unless one of them get hurt.
Did you guys see that?
I believe Montgomery is the better running back because he's a better pass protector.
And he's a good pass catching back also, I would say.
And they're different styles, right?
Yeah.
Montgomery's going to beat up the line, and Herbert's going to finesse it.
Mm-hmm.
So did you guys see that Eberflus was saying that he's going to go with the hot hand from here on out?
Yep, that's what he said. And
Isn't
who's
that
got
what
the
he's
hot
doing
hand right
anyways?
now? That's the question. Herbert?
He also said he also said he's going to mix stuff up. It's a surprise. I was reading that article as well. So
Before we get into that,
I want to see it.
I know it's not Bears related, but the biggest move in the NFL during the season so far is Carolina.
DMC.
McCaffrey going to San Fran with the big trade. Question is, do you guys think who won that deal? Did San Fran win that deal?
No.
Or did Carolina win that deal?
I think Carolina won with all them draft picks.
Yeah.
That's just my saying on that.
Rebuild time. Or retool.
Now see,
is healthy.
You got to see who they get with them draft picks first.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Correct. And the way it's going, the picks that they give them, they didn't give them a first round, so everything's going to be later. They're not going to have a good draft because they're going to finish in the playoffs, so they're not going to get a great pick. But what you could do is you could bulk those picks up, second, third, fourth, and then the fifth to possibly get in the late first.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my thing too is
if CMC can be healthy, and if his presence alone, just by him being the threat of him as a healthy CMC, can get Green Bay, can get San Fran to, let's say, an NFC Championship game, I think San Fran wins the trade because the draft picks are going to be so low, so terrible. But it's all predicated on something that CMC hasn't done now for 3 seasons: staying healthy.
Stay healthy. Yep.
Well, and Kyle Shanahan's record of keeping his running backs healthy is not very good.
No.
True, but if he can stay healthy, and another thing, San Fran's got beat up running backs. So if he can stay healthy, he doesn't even have to carry the workload because they got Wilson Jr. that's pretty decent that can do a good job as well. So I think they go more with the 2-punch, 50-50. They're not going to overload any of the backs.
Well, yeah, Ayuk is their star player, though. Ayuk is having a great year, too.
Again. 2 years in a row, he's been fired.
True, but now Debo can actually make his role into a wide receiver instead of being like, oh, I'm a running back. And you know what I mean? You utilize them better. And it'll help out Debo.
Look,
he could do anything. Debo can do anything.
Debo's a tight end that can't be a tight end because Kittle's there. Okay, that's what Debo really is.
Yeah,
and he's fast as shit.
Boy, he can fucking cut too. Man, I just like
Man.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, if you look
That
at
guy is
that
unbelievable athlete.
Ayuk, Debo, CMC, Kittle, and if those last two can stay healthy, my God, they're a good football team.
Mhm.
They got
Well,
rest.
the thing is, too, I think they see where Jimmy Garoppolo's weaknesses are, and they want to get that pump and dump with McCaffrey so he doesn't have to throw the ball downfield as much.
Mhm.
And, that really opens up a whole nother ball game for them to where they can hide some of those weaknesses that Garoppolo has by dumping the ball to McCaffrey and letting him make something happen.
Right, but with all that firepower there, do you think anybody's going to get upset for not getting the rock? Because everybody can't get the rock.
No, because they get like that when they're a bad team, but when they're
Right.
winning games, they don't care.
Or a contract season.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And really, I mean, that was a big move, and it also signifies, I think, for the Panthers that they're going to be doing some dealing. They might be trading away some quarterbacks with draft picks to maybe move up to get their new quarterback in the future in the draft this year. If you
Yeah,
think about
actually,
it.
Sam Darnold's playing.
They're
have
saying
him
they're
for it.
trying to shop Shaq Thompson, too.
I mean, they've got
Robbie Anderson's
Darnold.
gone.
They might be trying to make some moves though with some package. Now they can do some package deals. They say we'll give you Darnold and 2 picks for your number 1 or whatever. They can do some stuff to try to move up in the draft now to get that quarterback that's going to be their future. Because Baker isn't. Well, he's been hurt, but they might be Mayfield. Well, no, he's going to be in a contract. He's going to be a free agent. So you're going to lose Mayfield. He's going to be a free agent. Maybe they're going to package Darnold with a bunch of these draft picks to move up in the first round to get the quarterback of their future. I mean, there's a lot of things that Carolina can do with it. But as far as who wins this trade immediately, in the near future, you'd have to say San Fran because of what they can do now offensively.
If those players stay healthy.
If they stay healthy, yeah. And
Mhm.
it's not like it's one of those weird things though too, because they're also for the future with the CMC trade, because they'll be really good next year too if everyone's under a contract, which I think they are. And that kind of leads me to a trade I threw out there. I think I mentioned it to Mike during the week was, okay, OBJ, now the news is now he's not going to be ready till December. Look, I'm not against the Bears signing OBJ in a 2-year deal. The remainder of this season, which I really don't want them to do anything, it's more for having him there next year, right? Because the free agency for wide receivers next year doesn't look that good.
But OBJ said he wants to go to a Super Bowl contender.
Well, that's why you do a 2-year, because you can make the case then to say, here's how you make the case for OBJ and to him. We're like the
pieces around him
last year. We're losing a lot of 1-score games. You're the difference maker that gets us to the Super Bowl. We wanted you for the rest of this season. We don't want you to do much. Just show up. Next season's where it's at because we can fix our O-line issue. But just the fact that OBJ is there opens up Mooney more. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, because
So
all
for
the
next
money we
year-
have. All the money we have.
That's what I'm saying. It's more of a move for next year than it would be for this year. And you say that, look, next year we are a Super Bowl contending team, because if you look at the games we're playing now, for as bad as we are, we're 1 play away from winning all these games.
Right, and like you said, Ken, there's not much out there for wide
There's
receivers.
nothing.
Yeah, I'm not 100% keen on OBJ, but there's not much out there, and if it is for a 2-year deal, definitely.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
There's some big players coming out in the draft, though.
But it's not like you have 1,000 draft picks and you got more than wide receiver for need. You got O-line, wide receiver, and D-line that are now needs. So you've got 3 big needs in the D-line because we're not getting pressure on the quarterback. That's why it's a need now. O-line's obvious, wide receiver's obvious. Well, you can help that a little bit. I think the money to be spent off seasons, wide receiver, there's nothing for free agency. The money you're going to spend on free agents is going to be on the O-line and the D-line, right, with what's available there. So spending some money on OBJ now this year, getting ahead of next year's free agency, it works that way. Now you can look at a wide receiver in the draft to go with them. So OBJ is not the guy that you're going to give $20 million a year to anymore. But he's a guy that if he's on the field, he makes a difference because now Mooney is a little more free. Does that make sense? Just because he's there, he's going to draw some kind of coverage versus what we've got out there now. So it's more of a sign OBJ for next year and then address wide receiver in the draft and address your O-line, D-line issues in free agency, which the market's a little bit better for you as far as what's out there.
Okay, Ken, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How much do you think LBJ is worth right now? If they were to go, 2 months from now to say, okay, let's get him.
So he's going to play in maybe 4 or 5 games this year. So you're going to give him like $1 million for this year, $2 million maybe, because he's going to play in 4 games tops, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you give him a 2-year, $18 million contract, which most of that is for next year, and a lot of that $18 million is incentive.
Okay.
I think that might work. And like I said, people are going to look and say, oh my God, you're overpaying for this year, but you wouldn't be signing him for this year. You're more signing him for next year because the wide receiver, the free agent class at wide receiver is, you might as well keep what you got thin. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to do anything in free agency for next year at wide receiver, OBJ is your last guy worth anything. And if he's healthy, then you're going to make your money for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because the guy is phenomenal. And just his presence being on the field opens up Mooney. So you've already improved your team. He doesn't have to be a stud. He just has to be enough where he draws a double team. Like A-Rob last year sucked for us, but because A-Rob is a big body with all the height, he drew bodies, which helped Mooney.
I want to jump in and say, practice what you preach, Nick, because there's not a Packer show goes by that you do not say anything about the Bears.
Nick, Nick, you're rich. You have a lot of money. I wish I had your money. But no, I didn't even say the GB word this whole fucking show.
Yeah, Nick.
Not me.
Not me. It's not all about Green Bay, you.
But we'll move into this week's game. We don't play until tomorrow night, which I wanted to say a couple comments during what we were talking about on the offensive line. They're literally making changes on the offensive line. Now let's see if they can gel. I'm not going to say it's going to take 1 week. It might take a couple weeks, but I personally like Lucas at the center position.
Yeah, are they going to take Sam Mustipher out? Because that's going to be the change.
That's what I heard.
Good.
That's what I heard.
The lineup today,
Woody, I did exactly what you just did. Thank you. Yeah.
Mustipher's trash, man.
They're benching him this week. You got Patrick at center.
Those are the people from uphill.
Then you got Braxton Jones at left tackle,
which is having a great year.
Yeah, he's playing good.
Then they're going to move the left guard, Carter. He's starting it this week. Then Tevin Jenkins and Broom on the other side.
And I think Jenkins is doing good after all that shit they were talking about preseason and stuff like that. Like I said, Jenkins, he had his first holding call 2 weeks ago.
Jenkins and Broom have played really good together on that side of the ball.
Yeah, they do.
Yes. But I feel like Patrick at the center will have everybody else playing better just for the fact they're in basically their normal position, not moving around. Yeah, they're versatile, but certain players are better at certain positions.
And I wanted Patrick at center because look what he did, this career. He's blocking for, I can't say because Nick will yell at me, the GB team.
Hey, didn't we have Mustipher in a guard position before he moved in the center though?
Yeah.
And he was pretty good at the guard position. So I mean, I think that the problem was he's just not a good center, but he's a pretty decent guard. So, moving Mustipher somewhere else on the line, he's not a bad player. He's had some really good games when he's not playing center. I think he's just the center position. He's a decent fill-in, but he's not the answer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he hasn't been horrendously terrible. But
I wouldn't even say he's a decent fit. I wouldn't even say he's a decent fill-in because Justin doesn't trust him at all.
Yeah.
And you don't have a leader on that offensive line until you put Lucas in that spot.
And to add on to what Ken said, it's pretty difficult to move from a guard to a center position. You have a step up. You have one more responsibility, hiking the ball, and it's a tough transition. And I liked when Cody Whitehair did it. I think he did a good job. But Sam Mustafer, he's fucking trash at center.
But he's good as a guard, though. So I mean, I think they should just move him over to guard, because when as a guard, I don't remember him giving up many pressures or sacks. Like, he was actually pretty decent. So luckily he's on team control for a while, and luckily because he was playing center and looked so terrible, no one's gonna be trying to steal him. But watch, next year we'll be saying, wow, White, he'll be starting at left guard or something. We'll be like, damn, the kid's good. You know what I mean? He was good at the guard position, just not the center position. And I think it's hard for us to realize as Bears fans that, oh my God, we have a center issue, because we've always had good centers.
But see, was it like last year that the Bears, they had, I don't even know how many games in a row or whatever, did they have the same offensive line, what started and at the end of the year? It seems like we had a different offensive line the whole year, a mix-up. Can't do that.
That's always been our story, though. And the problem is we haven't had the depth to properly backfill. And that's something we can address, though, via free agency this year. I think the Bears like their starting five when healthy. The problem is depth.
All right, as you said, as healthy, what do you want to give the injury report real quick? I'm pretty sure it'll be fast.
Nothing for the Bears except for IR with Cody Whitehair, but everybody that is on the Patriots is all questionable, and that is Jennings, our linebacker, is questionable. Barmore is questionable. Wim, offensive lineman. Jones, their defensive back. And actually, Bourne, their wide receiver, that's just pretty having a good year. He's questionable. And Nelson Aguilar is questionable. So they have a couple of receivers out. But for the Bears, everybody's playing except for the people on the IR.
So is Mac Jones going to be the starter for him?
Yes, he's back. And which Zap, let me tell you, he was playing good for filling in for him. I mean, with Detroit having the most points scored on offense, but given the most on defense, they shut out Detroit 29-0 a couple weeks ago. So that kind of scares me, and that's what my prediction is. So.
I mean, they're a good team. I mean, yeah.
And they have, Stevenson is a good running back for them. He's been scoring touchdowns for the Patriots.
Facebook user said, "Send me the link." I don't even know who you are, buddy. Who are you?
Show your face.
I see who it is. I'll send it to him.
Who is it?
Hey, I'm gonna take off.
Minneapolis.
You
Tell
guys
him to put a screen name in there. Don't be scared. I sent it to him already, Dan.
Mike, don't be scared.
You guys enjoy your Sunday. I got to take off. I got some things I got to do. So.
All right, Jay. We'll be on tomorrow night. Well, I don't know if you've seen it in the chat. We'll be
all right. Glare. Hey, I'll see you later, Glare Hawkeye. There it is. That's right. Oh, a little hair on top.
He said some more up there. Got some fuzz up there.
You got more than Mike.
I'll see you.
Mine's more in the middle, okay?
And there's my boy Nick. The man, you are, like I said, I want your money, man. I swear to God. I mean, can you send me a check, please?
Yeah, Billy.
All right, I'd like to introduce the biggest Homer Viking fan in all the groups.
Oh no, not Jimenez. Jimenez, holy shit, Jimenez.
Is there a new Vikings fan? Is there a new Vikings fan coming on or something?
Jimenez, I miss you, man.
Send him the link, no?
Right, Jamez. At least you ain't the ugliest Vikings fan. That goes to Richard Tunney.
Hey, Richard Tunney gets a lot of bitches, man.
Jamila's the hottest Viking fan, I tell you that.
I'm sorry, but if you're getting people like Brooke, that doesn't count.
That don't count.
I guess Blake won't be on then, right?
Hey, Nick. I got it's the bye week for the bye. I got all kind of shit to get me ready for the Bears and Packers getting that ass whooped today. This shit right here, Woody. This shit right here. I'm telling you this. You gotta watch your TAC intake with this shit right here, buddy.
What is that? Hey, Jimenez, what is that? Four Loco?
No, man, this is fucking weed. It's all weed
Hey,
shit.
you know the Bears aren't playing today, right?
It's a practice. It's a practice for the Patriots.
Oh, gee, here we go.
Packers already beat the
Monday Night
Patriots.
Football, not today.
Hey, how much?
That's even better.
How much did the Vikings, their organization, pay Marset to just hand the ball over at that last play of the game?
Bro, I was glad when we let that motherfucker go. I instantly knew that Jalen Reagor was a better option. Bro, he was doing shit like that here. That's why he got removed. Hey, that's why he got removed as the punt returner because the motherfucker, I don't know if he got caught, he couldn't catch the goddamn ball.
Well, we released him. You can have him back.
And then after you catch it, like, bro, you know damn well you have to get out of bounds right there, bro. What are you fighting for 3 extra yards? It's 17 fucking seconds left, dumbass.
Not just that, you hold the damn ball. You don't.
I knew that motherfucker wouldn't last a week.
Well, I heard Green Bay wants him to do that next.
Oh boy, now Nick's gonna say Nick's gonna say you had Green Bay in your mouth. Oh, I said it. Wow.
Well, I said it because Nick is here.
Are you sure? Hey, he told the rookie Andrew Booth Jr. that he better sleep with his motherfucking eyes open.
Hey, we
that's
released him.
That's why he moved him. And they said he was trying to holler at Justin Jefferson's girlfriend behind his back.
The reason I said that, Ken, was because we were talking about, or you guys were talking about Christian McCaffrey, and you went, and the Packers. Wait, no, the Niners. And I went, oh man, he's just thinking about the Packers all the time.
Well, no,
glad
the Niners always beat the Packers in the playoffs.
Oh God.
Hey, Nick, he's rent free, right, in his head.
I don't use that term. I hate when people say that. It's like when you say something the first time, the second time, the third time, I'm like, all right, I'll laugh. But the 3 millionth time, I'm like, it's just dumb at this point. But you guys were talking about that Christian McCaffrey trade. We were talking about that last night. I thought that was just a horrible trade because look, you got Jeff Wilson Jr. who just ran for 120 yards and a touchdown 2 weeks ago. Running the ball clearly is not your problem. You have 2 better running backs than Jeff Wilson, obviously. You have guys that you can implement, plug in, and run the ball effectively in San Fran. I don't get why you would throw the farm for Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, Nick, it seems like a meaningless trade. It seems like a dead weight trade.
The only reason why they did is because they're banged up at the running back position, except for Wilson Jr., like you said. Like, I have him in fantasy. He did well. He can carry it, but you got to have somebody else, too, and they don't have anybody else.
Yeah, and I get that.
They know they're a playoff team, so they're trying to push for the Super Bowl.
But the thing is, though, Mike, you're going to get those running backs back eventually. They're not like hurt for the season or anything. So when you do, you have effective running. Your running game is not the problem. They had a lot more issues they needed to shore up.
We must not know. They must be signing that motherfucker to play quarterback. They ain't told us yet.
There's something else with San Fran because look at they're with the way the NFC is this year and the way they are now that they got Jimmy. They know after this season, Jimmy G question, he either has to be gone or they have to say their number 1 pick and Trey Lance was garbage, right? So they know they're at that decision point at the end of the season. They know that the NFC right now, because all that talent that went to the AFC in the offseason, and Green Bay is faltering, right? And the Vikings, for them, they're like, the Vikings what? They don't respect the Vikings yet, which might be a mistake for them. They're looking like we can win the NFC. We need to load up. Because, the guys are banged up. Yeah, they're going to come back, but what's to say they're going to stay not banged up? So they're looking out. They rather have the plethora of riches they don't need and go all in on a Super Bowl run versus hoping that guys stay healthy when they come back.
And another thing, Ken, is that front 7 that they got pretty stout. But if you can get past that a little bit, that secondary can be had. They stay banged up a lot too.
I get wanting to have as many weapons as you can have, and I get wanting to have as many options as you can have, but I do think that there's such thing as too many too much because
I just think Nick. I'm guessing that they're thinking, okay, when we hit the playoffs, we can overwhelm the fuck out of these teams with Debo. You know, that'll be an extra weapon. But at the same time, you got to be taking. That's going to, like you said, that's taking the ball out of somebody's mouth.
But like I said last night, there's only one football. Only one person can have the football in their hands.
Yeah, but
right?
when they're winning, they don't
It's
care.
always about one person's stat, one person. It should be a team thing. Nobody should get upset
like,
for not getting blocked as long as you're winning.
And
Do you think Kittle or Ayuk care if they win a ring that they didn't get to touch the ball as much because they gave the ball to Debo one time more, or they gave the ball to CMC?
That's not what I mean.
They don't care.
What I mean is the grand scheme of throwing the farm for Christian McCaffrey. There can only be one football to one person. So,
but damn, if all you guys felt that way, how come you guys didn't have my back when I was frying Diggs' ass? By the way he got up out of here, everybody was saying I was hating. That motherfucker's a fucking crybaby, bro.
Man,
and the way
we've been talking about
he was jealous of Adam Thielen, bro. Seriously.
Being a Minnesota fan, you would say that, but Diggs is
good. He was jealous of Adam Thielen, bro.
If Christian McCaffrey move, it's got to be for the future. It might be because Trey Lance, they don't trust him next year, and they're just going to give the ball to Christian McCaffrey all game. Like that, maybe that's
that too. Not all game. You'll have that 2-punch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just
there you go.
Cersei in fucking Chicago with Herbert Montgomery.
If Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, it's a good move for San Fran. If he can stay healthy, it's a good move for him.
And the other side, the other part is that kid most healthy.
I don't think anyone's saying it's not a good move. I think like what I'm getting at is I don't think they got exponentially better with that trade unless he stays healthy the full year and they plan on utilizing him more so than possibly the other guys that they were already utilizing.
Because remember, in 2019, he had 1,000 yards receiving and rushing. So,
I mean, and you think about it long term, CMC's under contract for next year, right? So, I mean, now they've got stuff they can move in the offseason and get draft picks back. So it's not like, and they didn't give up a first rounder, they gave up second, third, fourth kind of stuff. They can get some or most of it back by trading some of the other capital they have on that team to improve what they may perceive as needs for next season, which I don't know what really needs they really have, but I mean, they've more depth on deep line because like when Bosa's out, they're in trouble, right?
I sent it to you, Woody.
All right, thanks.
I mean, it wasn't a bad trade for him. So Nick, here, I don't know if you heard when I talked about OBJ. Did you hear about that at all when I was talking about OBJ?
I heard you guys talking about him. That's when I was saying there's like Will Fuller, there's OBJ, there's Antonio Brown. If you want to go that, there's really nobody out there worth getting.
The Bears need a big receiver that can go up and get the ball. You need a Brandon Marshall. You need an Alshon Jeffrey. There's none.
I'm surprised Green Bay wasn't on the phone for Robbie Anderson.
You got traded already.
Not as much as you said. The big receiver. I thought Harry would be back last week. Harry will be back this week against his old team. Do you think they target him a little more than what? Because he's going.
Hope if he doesn't favor Mooney, yeah, I hope so.
Hey, somebody has feedback. Who is it?
I mean,
I'm gonna mute my mic. Do you still hear it?
So someone, there you go.
It's
That's
John.
better. That was John. So someone needs to. They need to throw to Harry more, just to make. Here's a problem. You can throw Harry in all you want, but until he makes a play, it's still not going to help Mooney. And whereas I think even if you sign OBJ, and like I said, if you sign OBJ, you're signing him for next year, not this year. But just the fact he's on the field opens Mooney up. And so you don't need a Brandon Marshall because OBJ is not that kind of big body receiver, but OBJ on the field instantly gives Mooney more options because he draws more coverage like Brandon Marshall in that regard.
Okay, that makes sense. Ken, I was going to ask you guys. Hey, Mike. Before I forget, I was going to ask you guys because we discovered him last year. I was wondering why the fucking Bears coach. Why they don't be setting Herbert loose, man? Why don't just let that guy go off and do his thing, man? Is Montgomery going to start side-eyeing him or what?
Well, the coach did say he's going with a hot hand. Who you think the hot hand is? It could be 50-50. My view would be Herbert on the running, but pass blocking and run blocking, Stuff like that, Montgomery.
No, seriously, Kirko, it's about time for Herbert to be RB1, man.
Dude, I'm a Herbert fan. I talk good on him. You know,
he needs at least get about 5 to 6 more carries a game.
Those
really the running back does. If you've seen it earlier, Fields carried the ball 12 times last week and Montgomery 15. Like, yeah, Fields needs to run a little bit. Some of those are broken up plays. Some of them are made for running. But we got to get our running backs more involved in the rushing than Fields, unless it's like running the option play or something.
Well, those 4th and 1s or 3rd and short, like that 4th and 1 that they had at the goal line, they gave it to Herbert. Those are the plays that you got to give to Montgomery.
Yep. I agree with you exactly. Montgomery's that type of runner. They're different types of runners. That's the thing. And what Montgomery brings, he's an RB1. I mean, yeah, you can say Herbert's an RB1 for some teams, maybe, but not for this team. I mean, Montgomery is what we need as RB1. He's the guy who needs to punish the O-line. He does the blocking that Herbert can't do. Herbert makes some nice, nifty little runs, but look at it. Every time he has a nice little nifty run, it's after Montgomery has done some line damage.
Yes, and it's also the cutback too that's getting them real good.
Yeah,
that cutback's huge. Go to the open field or the big.
I think you guys. I know you guys are hurting at wide receiver. I almost feel like there should be packages where you have Herbert do Aaron Jones type plays, or you have like Montgomery in the backfield and you have Herbert in the slot and he does like a little flare out and you get him the ball. Like however you can get him the ball in space.
I think it'd be vice versa because I think Montgomery has a better hands than Herbert, so you would put him out there personally. But I know what you're saying.
That's why I'm saying you put Herbert at that slot and you just let him do a little flare out, a little dump off. If you can get him in space, I think he's a lot more effective when he has more space than Montgomery is.
I agree with that. I mean,
hey, Green Goblin, you just said the Bears are hurting that wide receiver. Are the Packers hurting that wide receiver too, or no?
Oh, we're hurting. We're hurting.
So, I think though, like if you think about though with the Bears at wide receiver, I think the Bears might be better off than Green Bay at wide receiver. Wait for 1 second. If they sign OBJ, because with Harry coming back, and then you put OBJ, like we already said, OBJ just being on the field makes Mooney more open, which also makes
oh yeah
Harry open. I mean, he's that big body guy that Woody you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, with that threesome right there, that tandem, that totally changes the entire look of that Bears receiving core. Then it literally comes all down to the one thing we're really bad at, and that's the O-line. But that's why I'm hot on the Bears signing OBJ on like a 2 or 3 year deal, because it's not about this year they're signing him. It's for next year. And to kill Harry, just him being a big body guy and Mooney being, and we all admit Mooney, when you can get him the ball, is phenomenal. So that right there would be a really good wide receiving core for this Bears team. And then it's just a question of the O-line, because everything else would be good, I think.
I think the
I just wait. I'd wait until that $100 million next year, and wait till you go out there and get you a big name guy.
There's no big name guys.
There's nobody out there.
There's no one out there.
Metcalf is going to want out soon, bro.
Free agency. If you guys are talking about like
Metcalf re-signed.
If you're talking about like availability, there's Chase Claypool. There's
he's going Stephon Diggs route.
Well, we're talking about
I'd rather have OBJ, because OBJ is going to draw more coverage than Claypool.
And Robbie Anderson signed with the Cardinals, Nick.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Robbie Anderson didn't he get traded to the Cardinals?
Yeah, he got traded.
That's what I mean. He got traded. That's what I mean.
Robbie Anderson ended up getting traded to the Cardinals, which was a good trade. The big loss was when the Panthers said DJ Moore was not getting traded, because I know the whole league was like, "Oh, DJ Moore's available." That was that was a big name.
Yeah. So like DJ Moore would actually be worth trading for. I like DJ Moore.
Oh hell yeah, you would be.
So I mean, the Bears aren't going to do that. I don't think the Bears are going to do that, because they have DJ Moore to offer us, but we don't have anything to offer them that they're going to want for their long-term solution.
They just said yesterday they're not going to trade DJ Moore.
Not anything that you're something that you're willing to give up.
Yeah, so I mean, they're not willing to trade him at all. They said.
So
they said that he's a core centerpiece, and they claim he's a superstar. So
Nick, we'll give you Robert Quinn for Lazard and Dobbs. Is that a good trade?
We're not giving up Dobbs. I'll tell you that much. We're keeping Dobbs.
So I mean, the Bears, though, if you think about it, there's the wide receiver market for free agency is not that good next year.
No, not.
It's like in the draft, it's going to be quarterbacks and receivers. I think there's a decent market for offensive line and D line next year in the league. And the draft is going to be really good at quarterbacks, which we don't need. So now hopefully let us get some wide receiving help. But I swear, if Harry can work out just by adding OBJ that roster, by his foot being on the field, makes Harry better and makes Mooney instantly better.
Well, they say he's one of the best blocking receivers in the NFL, Ken. Harry, they say he's one of the best.
Well, the Patriots,
well, he's a big body. Yeah,
the Patriots didn't use him right. The Patriots didn't use him.
I'm surprised Sammy Watkins' ass ain't a better blocker. How big that motherfucker is. And he coming back. And he come back today, Nick.
You guys got a lot of Bears fans who use this really like vanilla like regurgitation of, well, the offensive line. If you actually look at it, I've been impressed with the Bears offensive line with what they have this year. It's not
definitely look better than last year.
Look, because when you guys lose a game, a lot of Bears fans who clearly don't really understand the intricacies of football that well, like sit there and they just immediately go to the offensive line. And I watched the game and I go, it really was not the offensive line that game. Like they're holding up.
It's not the whole line, Nick. It's part of the line. Because like Tevin Jenkins, Broom, they've been great. It's been the center positions, and with the way it's been the last couple games, and it's been the other. There's pieces of it. It's almost there.
I was watching the Giants game. The receivers were not helping the fuck out, man. Dropping balls, running the wrong route,
but there's still a lot of work to do.
And Mez, I saw it because I was there live.
Even Mooney was dropping shit.
And
I'm just saying
needs to be better. The offensive line has been moved around numerous times. It's even getting moved again today.
Yeah.
As like you said, Nick, the Bears offense has not been that bad, especially when people are fucking moving positions after week after day, trying to find that combo, But we got about 10 minutes left. We'll be on live tomorrow night, half hour before game time. I'd like to say congratulations to, unfortunately, the Vikings for taking the number 1 spot in the division. Finally,
Hey, Carrico, you ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till we whoop the Bills. Wait till we whoop the Bills' ass next year.
Jesus Christ!
You got the bye week, so we got 2 other games this week at noon. They both play at noon. We'll save the Packer game for a second, but do we all agree that the Cowboys are going to beat the Lions?
Yeah, Cowboys' defense is for real, except when they played, I hate to say the team, but the fucking stupid ass Eagles. But Micah Parsons he's all over the place. Their defense is real, but yeah, I think Dallas is going to win at home today.
Is Dak back?
28.
Yeah, Dak's going to play.
Dak's back.
28.
I think, to be fair, I don't know if anybody's defense is going to stop the Eagles this year. Like that offense is pretty good.
Nick, you hurt my feelings, Nick. You hurt my feelings.
That offensive line, bro. Nick, that offensive line they got, bro. You cannot. That's like a fucking stone wall, bro. That motherfucker Lane Johnson, that motherfucker stopping anything in his tracks.
It doesn't help that Hurts is elusive. Like you can't catch the guy. He's just really difficult to take down.
We pressured the motherfucker a million times. Couldn't get him really though.
The Eagles helped the Lions out today. Wow.
Well, Hamez, if that wasn't prime time, you might have won that game.
You guys are gonna be so shocked. You guys aren't gonna believe your eyes when we whoop Josh Allen's ass next month.
Hey,
that's funny. That's funny.
You guys gonna wake. You're gonna be looking. You're just gonna wake up in a few weeks like, damn, the Vikings 8-1. What the fuck is going on around here?
The Eagles helped out the Lions this week. You know how, right? By beating Cooper Rush. Because Cooper Rush lost the Eagles, now Dak can play. And now Dak.
I want another shot at them motherfuckers.
Which is gonna make the Lions look good today.
A lot of people think Cooper Rush should start.
I'm
telling you right now, Nick. I'm gonna tell you right now. Don't be surprised. The Lions are gonna win by 3 today. Because I'm telling you, that motherfucker Dak, and he's halfway. He's about to stink it up. The Lions are gonna win today.
I'll take that too. I'll say the Lions are gonna win today.
Lions by a field goal. Lions by a walk off.
Yep. I'll go with that because
Cooper Rush controversy insert, bro. They're gonna want to rush. I'm telling you, he's about to stink it up. A couple of picks, get his ass sacked a couple times. You know that. And the Lions, bro, they're desperate right now.
Hey, Pollard and Zeke are both gonna have 100 yards today.
Yeah, I think Pollard wins the game for Dallas, and the coach for the Lions cries again.
Yeah.
Lions gonna have to. They might give up 45.
All right, Nick. We got like 5 more minutes left. We're gonna move on to the Packers game.
Oh, great.
Packers aren't as good as what everybody was predicting.
Not true.
Struggling in positions. Don't get. You said not true.
It's not true.
Rent free.
Well, I mean, the Giants and the Jets have improved this year. I mean, they've shocked me. I didn't think the Packers would lose back-to-back weeks against the work teams. Personally, you're going up against their Skins.
And they're only 4.5 favorite.
Hey, Green Bay's getting a bad break today, bro. It's a bad for Green Bay.
Even though the Packers, they lost 2 weeks in a row, no Carson Wentz, I think they're going to come out with a vengeance. And I'm surprised they're only 4.5 favorite.
I would rather Carson Wentz play.
Nah, Woody. If Carson Wentz was in, I'd agree with you. Heineke about to come out there and get the Packers some problems.
I agree.
Trust me, bro. Green Bay's going to win, probably win, but they ain't gonna cover that spread.
To be clear, Mike, the reason why I say not true is because, yes, we haven't played nearly as well as everybody thought, but that roster is not nearly as bad as the record. Like, it's a good roster. It's just.
Oh, I agree, but you're actually lacking wide receiver, just like the Bears. Like, losing a number 1 receiver, yeah, you're like, oh, we can replace them. That's a tough.
But
it hurts.
They probably have but they have, like I said before, they have the probably the second 1-2 punch in the league in running.
Which you know what?
Matt LaFleur.
Don't bring that up because the coaching has been lacking too. Like, why do we run?
There you go, Nick.
We ran the ball all game in the Giants game. We ran it down their throat. We were kicking their ass, and then the second half, we threw the ball, and we broke down.
Yeah.
It just doesn't
Nick,
work.
that's how y'all got up 10 in the first place.
Well, the changes from last year to this year, Nick, is second half adjustments. And also the worst that the Packers is in that you don't say it much is in the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter, I think we're the worst in the league.
Been the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah.
And that's shocking to even say.
The Green Bay got the worst differential? Damn.
All Packers have to do today is run the ball and stop Sweat. Sweat he's a beast on the line.
Rodgers could sit down, Jordan Love could play, and they could hand the ball off all game, and we could win this game.
I was going to say, don't underestimate Brian Robinson. He's a rookie. You guys been lacking at stopping the run, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like he could get an easy 100 yards.
Hey, watch Heineke and McLaren today. If Scary Terry has a big day today, and he's due a big day, he hasn't had one, and him and Heineke have last year, the chemistry those two had was undeniable. If Heineke coming back might actually be, you guys wouldn't have been happy with Carson Wentz, because I think Heineke, he's like Fitzmagic in a way, and him, the McLaren. Dude, Scary Terry goes off today. You guys are sunk.
And don't forget about Samuel too. They got that other slot receiver as well,
Curtis Samuel.
Yeah.
So look, it really depends. It depends on the scheme. If our defensive coordinator decides to go, hey, we're just going to nickel man these guys, we have the defensive backs to stop them. But you're right. Like, look, we're a good first half defense and a bad second half defense. So if we can stop the run and we can play man all game, then we're going to beat them. But I highly doubt that that's what happens.
I still think I don't see Green Bay losing 3 in a row.
I don't think we lose the game. On my show, I never like go wild. I know people on my show, they like to be like, oh, we're going to win, 30-10. And I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah, that's thick, man.
This week, for one of the first times that I've ever done it on my show, I'm predicting 31-14. This week, we're going to kick their ass. And I said on my show, the reason why is because we overreacted about the last 2 losses. Green Bay fans, I'm talking about super overreaction. It's week 6. We're going to kick their ass this week so that we can have super overreaction week 7. And Green Bay fans are going to go, oh, we're back. I know that's what's going to happen.
Right.
All right, let's get the prediction going around. I'm pretty sure you said it on your show, Nick. What do you think the prediction going to be today for the Packers?
31-14. Green Bay is going to win so that we can all go back to overrating instead of underrating.
Woody?
I say it's 28-17 Green Bay.
Ken?
28-24.
Wow.
Redskins.
Gee, that's not Redskins.
Oh, I'm
no more.
sorry.
That's
Cobra
it. I'm more
Commanders.
friends than you.
Are they
I'm
going
happy
to?
it's over.
I would love to see the Packers lose for sure. I actually picked the Jets last week for sure because they've been at the hot hand. But this week I don't see Rodgers losing 3 in a row.
But
So
for me,
it's
that's
the
not
worst
it, though.
year ever for the Packers. But
If it was Carson Wentz, I'd take the Packers today. But it's Heineke to Scary Terry and Heineke doing Fitzmagic kind of things, and he comes up big in big games, and this is a big game because Ron Rivera's on the hot seat, and the players love Ron Rivera. The Commanders have a lot more ride on this game than Green Bay does, and these are the kind of games where Heineke comes up big.
Well, I don't know about
LaFleur's
that.
on the hot seat.
I think I think this game means so much more to Green Bay than it does the Commanders. The Commanders are playing for nothing. Green Bay, if they lose this game, you're looking at potential throw the season.
They're playing for their head coach. Ron Rivera is literally on the hot seat right now.
So maybe for their head coach, but for the organizations themselves, this is a way bigger must-win for Green Bay than the Commanders.
Nick, I think Ken wants to do a profile pick bet with you for today's game.
All right.
What do you? I know you do, but I don't. I don't.
I pick Green Bay to win.
You got to put Carson Wentz as your profile pick.
I don't do profile picks, so that's a stupid thing, Woody.
I hope you're correct.
I don't do it
Ken.
either.
I do, but I personally think the Packers are going to win today. I say 24-13 Pack.
Besides, someone has to break up the monotony of everyone taking the Packers.
No, I'd love to see it. I hope you're right because I'll be like, damn, Ken, you're 100% right.
I mean,
he's the Terry Bradshaw of the group. That
no, I mean,
Ken, this is what I'll do for you. If the Commanders or Commandos win, okay, I'll put Bayer on my profile pick for a week. Your soccer team.
You can do whatever you want, Woody. I mean, I'm not making a profile belt because I don't think
You said we'll just get off that.
I mean,
I appreciate everybody coming on. Nick from one of the hosts from Frozen Tundra Network. I want to give your show a shout out real quick. I know it's the Bears show, but much love, man.
Same. Thank you for having me.
It's the best show on Facebook, man.
What nights are the shows?
It's really up in the air. We do Friday nights, we do Saturday nights, and sometimes we go live with the game on our show while we host the game, do our own announcing. So we have some fun that way. So just keep,
Well, maybe I should come on there and then I could tell you 2 plays ahead then. Like I do Mike's show.
He's famous for doing that, Nick. He really is.
We'll give our predictions on the Bear Show tomorrow. You're more than happy to join us, Nick. We're going to do a little pre-game, and we were also going to be live during the game. I've done it the last couple weeks, and
right on.
It's more better. It's more low-key on Facebook so far, so I'm just going to keep rolling with it.
I think it's fun for everybody, too.
And Nick, thanks for coming on, and tell Brooke I said hello. And
I heard she owes somebody money or something like that, so we haven't been talking.
Yeah, Blake. Yeah, I know.
All right, well, go Washington.
Oh boy.
And the Lions are going to lose, but we'll see everybody again tomorrow night. If you guys go live today after the game, let me know, Nick.
All right.
Everybody enjoy the games. And
Hey, Nick, good luck today. I hope I'm wrong, but good luck.
I'll see you later. Have a
Let's begin. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Frozen Tundra podcast.
Go, Pack, go!
Up time, yeah!
Welcome to the next episode of Halas Hall Report.
Stop, Bears.
Yeah!
Hey, you want Detroit Lions football? The hits, the action, the biting the kneecaps? It's all here. This is our show. Get ready for the Motor City Lions Talk Show.
How's it going, everybody?
Welcome to the Packers Show.
I was very happy on how our defense stepped up because the few weeks prior they haven't been doing so good.
Play fake. Cousins taking a deep shot. Jefferson's got separation, and he's got the catch inside the 40. Jefferson still going. See you later.
Welcome to the Bears Show. It is game day. We are doing the live shows on Sunday mornings at 9:45 a.m.
It's showtime!
The final hour of the show, we allow every fan base on, considering Bear fans, Viking fans, Lion fans, even Bucks fans come on. So come check out the show.